What's the situation?
The police are reporting that armed terrorists have attacked the Israeli athletes.
There's a hostage situation going on right now in the Olympic Village.
It's not as if we can drop everything and fly to Peru.
To inflate your life, Jackie.
I didn't mean now, Paddington.
Arts 24's film show, where we look at the best of this week's releases with our critic, Emma Jones. Hello.
Hello.
Well, we start with Maria from the Chilean director Pablo Larraín. It's the third film he's made about famous women of the 20th century. This one's about Greek opera singer Maria Callas, played by Angelina Jolie. And Emma, this story does have a direct French angle, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because Maria Callas died in Paris in 1977 at the age of only 53. It's important to say that this film isn't a biopic like the other films that this director has made, including, of course, Spencer, which starred Kristen Stewart as Princess Diana, and then Jackie, starring Natalie Portman as Jackie Kennedy Onassis. It's all set within a very specific time period. And this is, in Maria, the last few days of Maria Callas's life in Paris, where she reminisces about her career in an imaginary interview. And it should be said, at this point, she had not sung for quite some time, and her voice appeared to be lost.
OK, well, the director did say he tried to make an operatic film. Let's take a look.
My life is opera. There is no reason in opera.
Now, as you can see there, of course, the film does play with time a little. It moves backwards and forwards as Maria remembers some epic events of her life, including her famous affair with Aristotle Onassis. But this film, for me, is very much about showing off the autumnal glory of Paris. There's lots of sweeping shots of the city with Angelina/Maria walking through, and then all of a sudden orchestras appear and start playing soaring, transcendent opera music.
That's really the highlight of the film for me. Yeah.
I really loved that part of the film, actually. That device worked really well.
OK, and Angelina Jolie, surprisingly, actually sang opera, which was an epic challenge for her, wasn't it?
Well, it is indeed. She sang every single note in this film, and I think that she was put on a strict training program, so she really trained for months. And then Pablo Larraín, made her sing in front of audiences of extras at various opera houses, including, I believe, La Scala in Milan. And then the final mix in the film is a blend of Jolie and Callas's voice.
OK, well, let's hear from Angelina Jolie.
Of course, it's such a great challenge. As an artist, how can you not want to take a challenge? But I was very nervous to realize I had to really learn to sing and sing in front of people, sing Maria Callas. So it was very daunting, and I was very nervous to not be good enough for her.
And Maria does seem to have all of the ingredients for an awards season film. It had a big launch at the Venice Film Festival, yet it only has one Oscar nomination for cinematography. What went wrong?
Genuinely, I really, really don't know, because I find this a very classic and aesthetically pleasing movie. Jolie is absolutely wonderful in it. And this is traditionally the kind of film where the kind of work that the actress puts in that makes her a shoo-in for the Best Actress category. So I'm a bit lost to explain it all, unless it was just because it's Larraín's third film of this kind that she was passed over for some reason. But, if you're a fan of Angelina Jolie, she will be back in another drama. She's working with French director Alice Wincourt and actor Louis Garrel in the drama Stitches.
OK, and if you want to watch an interview, my interview with the director later this week with Pablo Larraín, it is on our website at france24.com. We're on to now the film September 5th by the Swiss filmmaker Tim Fellbaum. It stars, amongst others, Peter Sarsgaard. It's nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Academy Awards. This is the story of the murder of 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team by the Palestinian Black September group at the 1972 Munich Olympics. Jennifer Ben Brahim has been speaking to the director and the actor.
Good morning, I'm Jim McKay speaking to you live from the Olympics in Munich, West Germany.
the cheerful games, the motto for the 1972 Olympics.
It was the first Olympics on German soil since 1936, which was misused for fascist propaganda, and they wanted to send out this image of the new liberal Germany.
This image would soon sour as tragedy unfolded.
Do you hear that?
Were those gunshots?
On September 5th, the Palestinian militant group Black September infiltrated the Olympic Village, killing 2 and taking hostage 9 members of the Israeli team. The remaining hostages were eventually killed in a doomed rescue mission. A true tale that has long fascinated Hollywood. From Kevin McDonald's Oscar-winning documentary One Day in September to Steven Spielberg's Munich. And now Tim Feldbaum's September 5.
ABC wants news to take over.
Your sports, you're in way over your head.
We're 100 yards away from where this is happening.
We are the only people capable of following it live. This is our story, and we're keeping it.
We show the tragic events of that day from a very distinctive perspective. We actually show it from the perspective of a group of sports broadcasters that on that day had to make the switch from reporting on the Olympics to reporting on this crisis. Our movie is very much about this turning point in media history.
We're making broadcast history. More people have seen this than watch Armstrong land on the moon.
The first ever live broadcast of a terrorist attack in TV history, to a record 900 million viewers around the world. At the helm, ABC Sports crew, including its president, Rune Ardledge, played by Peter Sarsgaard, and young producer Jeffrey Mason, played by John Magaro.
He was just getting a start in his career, and he was given the opportunity to sit at the head on this, which was supposed to be a very boring day of, secondary sports coverage. And things change, obviously, when a hostage situation unfolds. And he has to rise to the challenge of calling this breaking news in this unprecedented setting where it's being broadcast globally throughout the world.
September 5 takes you to the heart of the ABC Sports control room, thanks to first-hand accounts, archival footage, and attention to detail.
We had access to the original blueprints on how that studio was built. We had access to a lot of photos also by Jeffrey Mason. This story is also about how technology obviously has an influence on the media, and in that sense also has an influence on how we perceive world political events.
From Sidney Lumet's 1976 satire Network to a peek into the secretive world of investigative journalism in Spotlight, September 5 continues to deep dive into the murky waters of journalistic ethics. The ABC Sports team are confronted for the first time with the potentially damaging effects of their live coverage.
Police are on the roof.
Oh, guys.
That's a TV. Are they seeing what we're seeing?
What are you talking about?
Are the terrorists seeing this? No one had ever been through this before, so I think that in that room, these were genuinely good people who had their heart in the right place, unaware of the consequences of what they were doing that day and how that was going to forever change media.
The whole world is watching.
September 5 has been nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Despite the edit being completed just days before the events of October 7th, the context of the war and ceasefire in Gaza has placed the film even more in the spotlight.
Emma, such a dramatic story. What's your verdict on the telling of it?
Yes, indeed. As the report says, this is a very smart film, and it really is dedicated to the story of television crisis reporting rather than what happened to the Israeli hostages themselves. And I find it really interesting just looking at the studio set within 1972 as well. As a bit of a broadcasting nerd myself, really enjoying looking at the cumbersome cameras, the film reels, the graphics that are created by letters on a board. That kind of thing is very fascinating. I also think that the film captures that sense of claustrophobia within a studio really, really well, and the dilemma of reporting accurately in a fast-moving live situation, and having those ethics, and at the same time not being outscooped by rival networks. I think also it's very much an ensemble cast. Even though Peter Sarsgaard's in there, I'd say that really all credit is due to all of the cast. One standout for me, actually, was German actress Leonie Benesch. She was in the Oscar-nominated film The Teacher's Lounge last year. Now, she plays the translator in the film, and she's a bit of a star turn, I find. Also, she was the only woman in the room, pretty much.
Okay, well, sounds like a film for us journalists, anyway.
Totally.
Finally then, The Bear is back. Paddington in Peru is out this week. And for this third movie, London's most famous resident, voiced, of course, by Ben Whishaw, is being taken back to his roots in South America. Paddington 2, of course, starred Hugh Grant as Phoenix Buchanan, and it got a higher approval score on the movie site Rotten Tomatoes than Citizen Kane. Plus, it made around $300 million at the box office. So how does number 3 shape up?
Oh, well, it shouldn't get too many hard stares, I would have thought, even though, of course, there's no Hugh Grant in the third film. Or is there? Let's wait and see. But, this third film is directed by Dougal Wilson, and there's also a new Mrs. Brown in the film, played by Emily Mortimer instead of Sally Hawkins. Now, they all pack their marmalade sandwiches to go off to Peru because Paddington's Aunt Lucy appears to be missing. They all end up in the Peruvian jungle, which was actually England, where the actors filmed their parts, and they go on a bit of a treasure hunt. Now, as part of that, they encounter characters played by Antonio Banderas, so more big names, becoming part of the franchise, and also Olivia Colman playing a Reverend Mother.
Okay, well, I can't wait to see this. Thank you so much, Emma. It's always a pleasure. We're going to leave you now with Paddington in Peru. Thanks for your company. See you next time.
What are you, Bear? Aunt Lucy always says you can take the bear out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the bear. Oh. That was close.
Special events. Paris, the global hub of AI. On February 10th and 11th, the world's leading AI players will gather at the Grand Palais. Heads of state, industry leaders, researchers, and representatives from NGOs. For the first time, they will outline the actions needed to develop AI that upholds universal values. The Artificial Intelligence Action Summit. Watch this exclusive event on February 10th and 11th on France 24.